Hey, welcome back. It's been a while. Thanks for tuning into the reboot episode of Introverts, Extroverting. This is your boy JP, and I'm chilling here with
Hutchinson Aldez, straight out of Texas.
that was white as fuck.
That was.
Introduce yourself. Yeah, you do.
All right. It's my turn for sure.
Yes.
All right, yeah. So I will be going as half baked on the show, aka darksidedaddy, your boy. I'm here. Gonna hear some stupid shit today. Let's go.
I'm never gonna call you that. Before we get started on what we usually talk about, which is usually some random ass topic, if you've listened to our previous episodes, Scary Teller, if you're listening to this episode, you know I love you. Dealing with your family shit, it's all good. Text me. I'm always around. But yeah, before we start recording, we were on quite a few fucking pretty good topics. So like we got a bunch to choose from. Half Baked, you're new. You what should we talk about on your premiere episode?
Shit, hell, I thought we was gonna be talking about that whole bill thing. And what do we really think? You didn't look at it, man?
Damn. I was working earlier.
All right. What's the second thing?
With Bill.
Because JP knows that I don't really talk politics and all that other kind of stuff. That's not.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. I don't thrive on it. It doesn't excite me. It rather pisses me off and stuff like that. So that was one reason I hadn't read it either, is because I was procrastinating. I don't like this.
I know how to trigger my friend over here. Like sometimes I'll just send him some shit and it'll just be like a couple of videos I know he won't look at because the thumbnail just screams politics.
I'll still look at them, but I might not comment on them. I might not tell you that I watched it.
Well, then you're slyer than I thought, my friend.
It's like this motherfucker here. slipping in the paws.
That's an episode. If you want to do that a different day, you and I can sit down with, because that is some bullshit that Canada's doing. The bill we're referring to is Canada's new policy of euthanizing people instead of actually treating them because they're a socialist piece of shit country. Sorry, there's cool people up there, but y'all a piece of shit country.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel some type of way.
Yeah, now I may have to actually go and look at that shit and see. I don't like going down those rabbit holes. You tell me about the rabbit holes, and like I end up going down stupid rabbit holes, and I don't want to go down that kind of rabbit hole.
Like, all right, before I move on from this topic, just because it kind of intersects with what I did want to talk about on this episode, one of the kids that was actually signed up for that MAID program did it. Like, he's 26 years old, and just because he's depressed and can't get a girlfriend, some shit like that, or like lost his girlfriend. Like normal shit we had to deal with, and he legitimately went to the state like, I want to kill myself, and they were like, well, let's see what we can do for you.
So, all right, not to go down that path. So basically, we have legalized Dr. Kevorkian going on right now in Canada.
Yeah,
for everything that you want. Yeah, like Kevorkian at least was killing people that were fucking dying.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah,
like I watched my dude, there was times I thought about like just like, you know, helping my grandma along her way when she was dying of level 4 cancer until she actually started coming around. You know what I'm saying? Like it's if you're dying of cancer and you know it's one of those, like I literally am just waiting for the day I don't wake up, you should have the option to go out on your own terms.
I understand.
That's my point. But the way they're doing it, bro, nah, son.
So you can set up an appointment to off yourself.
Yup.
Yeah, and I don't mean to sound insensitive, but this, like you said, we dealt with a lot of stuff like this, and I don't like to use the cliche, you know, develop thick skin, you know, man up or whatever the case may be. But you have a lot of people who can't cope and don't know coping skills today, and it shows with policies like that. That's all I'm gonna say about that shit.
I agree 100%.
Let me piggyback off that right there. So yeah. I got the page up right now, and I'm gonna read this. And it says, important, please note that the eligibility date for persons suffering solely from a mental illness is such and such date, 2024. For more information, please see eligibility for persons suffering from mental illness. And this is crazy. I gotta say, like, I would expect for them to be like, hey, there's some kind of treatment phase prior to, but this looks like they're just, hey, opening up the door.
Right.
Yep.
No kind of way to help the person cope and maybe get them to a point to where, all right, do you still feel like going through with it? Because some people, they get up on that ledge. Like I'm not speaking figuratively, I'm speaking literally. They get up on that ledge, they look down, and they're like, maybe it's not so bad. I'm gonna get my ass back down off of this ledge and go inside and just cry a little bit. And so you have, if they have some type of program or some kind of protocol that begins the healing process, and the person is just like, no, I tried, I can't do it, go ahead and finish me, then I can understand that. I don't agree with it, but I can understand it. But at least there's some type of effort put in to help make the person whole again.
Let me put this into your head. Just like what you just said, that person gets up onto that ledge. So can you imagine whoever has done this, those last moments?
Yeah, I think about that all the time when you're about when you jump off and there's no do-over and you're plummeting to your death, or you pull that trigger and there's no like, dang, maybe I don't need to do this after all.
Like if these people scream out like no at the last second, do they continue?
Right.
All right.
Because
I mean that's one of the hard things about assisted suicide, because like the reality of the situation, how well can you control your reflexes?
Right, but then this comes into the territory of another parallel when you're like, if you're talking about half baked, you're talking about last minute, I don't want to do this anymore. It starts to bring in the whole stuff about sexual assault and rape. Well, she let me start, so I'm gonna finish. Well, no, she has the right to say no at any given time, and you need to stop. So it can offer, yeah, dude.
Consent is consent.
Yeah, there's some gray area in there that could lead to some real bad precedents, depending on what they do, because you can compare a lot of that kind of stuff to things like that. And you're like, well, she said no, even though you initiated said act, and they changed their mind. Like, well, that's how you end up with some of these cases, because someone's like, hey, you already said no. I'm in this motherfucker right now. I'm gonna finish. But you got people that are like, well, I said I don't want to do this anymore, so I need you to respect me. That's not what they're saying out loud. They're like frantically saying no, and this person just keeps going, and then you get all these cases. So what happened? Here's the other side, though. Like if they continue with the euthanization, there is no, well, they did it against my will because your ass is gone already. So
I mean, if it's a medical procedure. Yeah. And you sign off on a medical procedure. Because think about it like this: if you're going for a medical procedure, like think of it like a surgery, they're gonna knock you out. So once that's done, you're it's over. It's a wrap. Like you're never waking up again.
That's a good point. There's no, I changed my mind. You have to change your mind right before they put the sedative in you.
Yeah, because it's like
that you would have to say that. Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's like as somebody that knows people that have assisted loved ones with their own end, there's sometimes there's different methods that certain organizations that have, like private organizations, not going to name any names just for legal reasons and all that, because technically what they are doing is illegal, but it's for just reasons. I'm sorry. Like
how about this?
It's like people who are dying of like hardcore AIDS and shit like that, where you have like lesions on your brain. It's like
how about this though? It starts at 18.
That's good.
No, it should be. We need to start looking at it, our bodies more through a biological lens, and we need to start doing shit at 25.
Your body ain't even fully developed yet. It's starting at 18. Body ain't fully developed.
This is the last point I'll make about it then. If they're going to, because some people aren't going to make it to that point. Let's just be real. They're not going to make it to 21, 25 years old. If they're feeling this way, they're going to take matters into their own hand. But if you make it a situation to where it's like being able to rent a car, you can't rent a vehicle until you're 25. You can't get in some clubs until you're 21. Some clubs you can get in at 18 and stuff like that. So it's really a matter of what you determine is the age of a developed person's mind for said circumstance.
Well, I mean, if they're putting it underneath as a medical procedure, then it would be 18. Unfortunately, since that's like the universal age. But overall, that shit needs to fucking change. Because if we were to actually be equal and start looking at things through a biological fucking lens across the board, then you have to look at how the brain fucking grows. And that was kind of the whole point with that whole fucking the video with the voting. That yes, there'd be a lot of things that have to change in order for this to actually work. But that's a brilliant fucking idea. Because if you don't actually know the civics of what you're fucking voting on, then what the fuck are you doing? It's like, here's keys to a fucking car. Here's keys to a 16-wheeler, and all you've ever driven is Harleys. Go get me some McDonald's from across town. Let's watch it in the fucking news as you drive this tank. Same difference, smaller scale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I realize that there's a lot of fuckery in place that I'm 100% about, like everybody coming together and having equal say to have the changes that need to be done. But that shit is still a good fucking idea because education in public schools there's no livable skills. Like you can't even learn really civics nowadays.
I'm gonna be 100. Like I don't feel that way because like I've talked to a lot of the kids in this generation, and there's a lot of kids that are way more advanced than I was at that age. Like the stuff that
I guarantee a lot of them are self-educated. That they're actually the smart ones that are using the internet right and actually looking up like, oh, so this is how this actually works.
No, man, it's literally like parents actually talking to their kids. Like I was able to have conversations with my daughters, you know, that they'd rather sit and talk with me than to go hang out with their friends. And we would have like intelligent conversations at a young age. Like I'm talking to them about things that's going on, and they're listening, understanding, and regurgitating it. And around like, it's not a lot that do that, but I've talked to many. And when I see them out there protesting and out there actually showing, you know, trying to be a part of a change, you know, I have hope. I have hope for the future, basically. Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, by all means, it's like as long as they're doing it correctly, 100%. I may disagree with what they're protesting about, and I may speak in such a way, but I would never be in their way. I'm the type of dude where it's like if I see somebody like actually like selling waters or whatever, I'll ask if they have a permit, and then I'll be like, well, if you do, then you can get tax deductions and grants, so they can pay, so you don't even have to pay for your shit. Like, go get more money.
Now, this is what I see happening with this bill. Right now, I don't know numbers and percentages, but a large percentage of Democratic voters are like way younger than Republican voters. That's what I see is going on right now. They just
I see it balancing out.
You think so?
Like, yeah, dude. Like, honestly, I see a lot of centrists going more towards the Republican side than the Democratic side right now, just because there's the Democrats are being fucking crazy. Like, dude, in the 80s and 90s, I was a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Right. I grew up and considered myself a liberal, and then the left me. Like, the shit got super crazy. Like, I was raised in my 20s. I spent like 10 years of birthday celebrating them in gay bars. Like, right. I'm seeing the shit now, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm trying to understand, but I just can't. Like, and people want to live your life however you want, but it's just like I see a lot of people like me in the center going more towards the Republican conservative side because it's just a lot of it's common sense shit. It's like, why don't we have some stuff like this in place? Like
me being in the military for the last 22 years, like I feel like I missed out on a lot. Like I was focused on what was going on over there and not what was going on over here. So now I'm really getting into politics now. Like none of us talked about it. We was never in the chow hall line talking about politics or behind the gun line talking politics. Never do it. Just something that never came up.
You don't want your fucking best puppets in the world out there fucking realizing what they're actually doing, while people back home are reading the declass. Like I'm all for America, fuck the government. You know what I'm saying? I support my troops, and it's also like when I hear people like, "Oh, I'm about to go serve," it's like, why? No, don't, no. Sign your life over to me for 3 years. I'll pay you shit money, treat you like shit. You can be my bitch, and I'll teach you how to use some cool guns. Okay,
they were really a lot cool better. Guns.
Like I have access to the black market. We're good. Like I know gunstone owners. We're in Wisconsin. All right, the biggest down south state up north. We have no magazine max. You're good. I got you. I'll show you some cool shit. Like, but it's just like, don't, like, y'all just fucking up. Like the military as a whole, like we're like begging for a civil war or someone that's dumb enough to think we're weak enough to be invaded, just so we can like rally behind something to like actually get shit fixed.
Well, that's the thing. Like my generation of soldiers that's still, ready to, freaking bite the faces off their enemies. They're the ones that's turning around and looking back at the government.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy though. It's like reflected in like all.
I saw what was happening. I saw what was happening, but I'm not gonna speak on it. But it took years for me to really realize what was actually happening. You know what I'm saying? And to where it got to a point to where I didn't necessarily take my job seriously. I was in it to do other things, so I can learn, go to this school, jump out of planes and run through the woods. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
You didn't leave the military. The military left you, basically.
Oh no! They didn't leave. Hey! I got a hook in them. I have a hook in them that ain't coming out for the rest of my life.
As you should. I see. That's one thing too. It's like we'll get off the politics, because I know Aldez over here is all like delicate and uncomfortable with them, because he gets angry very easily. He's our most triggered person on here.
Sarcasm. Gotta love it.
But I have always wondered why the fuck we have a VA the way it is in the first place, and why y'all ain't like legitimately properly cared for. Like that is the one thing in like overall in politics that just like, why aren't we rioting for this alone? Like y'all are, with the utmost respect for what every vet and soldier has to do, y'all are stupid enough to sign away your life to a entity that has shown nothing but disdain for the general American public for as long as it's basically been around, to give them your body, mind, and soul for shit pay and cool toys.
Hold on, time out.
Y'all get the best care for forever.
I only had two options: that or prison.
I get that. Trust, my dad was given the same choice, basically. But y'all a special breed, and I have nothing but respect that y'all can be that fucking crazy and dumb at the same time. It's all love, because without you, we really would not have the freedoms we have. And I say it with the utmost shit talking love, and I hope you know that. But y'all like 100%, y'all do not deserve the bullshit y'all go through. Y'all like that pisses me off. Like that's some shit that I would straight up would not be surprised if some bad shit happened. You know what I mean? Like, not endorsing it, but it's like it wouldn't shock me. Like,
I'm just happy that we're not getting, the treatment that like the Vietnam vets receive coming back home.
Yeah,
the treatment that they receive. I know we're blessed to not get that treatment. When I used to come through those gates with my bag and my uniform, and I got them claps, I pull my hat down, and try to keep low and keep going. But I appreciated it. I appreciated it every time.
Yeah, like my dad was a Vietnam vet, and he even went to, like, because he was a medic over in Vietnam, and then he came back and wanted to go to medical school. So he got all the way to doing his internship, and then basically was not able to help some people because they'd recognize like his tattoos and shit like that.
Right.
Like, oh, you're a baby killer, huh? Like, go tell that to someone who's really dealing with some PTSD. Yeah, that's
bro.
Nice.
My little girl asked Daddy why they the soldiers, baby. I'm like, where did you even hear that?
Like the only thing that I would be able to say as a human being would be like, honey, right, if you're really serious about that question, come ask me that again when you're like 16, 17, so I can give you an honest answer, because you do not want to hear the answer to that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I have heard stories from veterans from even back in like anthropology, like from the diaries and shit that people have found, where it's like, because why are they called baby killers? Because people are pieces of shit and use their children as shields. And I'm sorry, if in that situation, if I have to unfortunately put a round or a sword or an arrow through an innocent life to kill you because you're that big of a piece of shit so I can live, I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't mean to go full rant. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's good,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
It's good. I'm just gonna take some more of this medication. I'm just take some more of this medication.
I'm about to. I just rolled one up myself. Like, dude, it's real talk. It's like, dude, seriously, veterans, like all vets out there. Like, this isn't even like a Hillary Clinton moment of like, I carry hot sauce everywhere I go. Like, no, I like vets. Literally, like y'all are like, that's like, or should be like the most taken care of fucking class. Like, welfare should be dedicated to veterans in the best ways possible. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
If you stub your toe, there should be like a number you can call for someone to come kiss it.
So
I'm saying?
I can say this. I can say this about that. There are programs there. The issue is that we don't know about them. That's what I've recognized with every veteran I've talked to. When I say, hey, do you have this? Oh, I've never heard of that. I'm like, how? That is you're eligible for it. So that's the issue that we have. The programs are there. I can call right now and a van to come pick me up and take me wherever I need to go. The programs are there.
It's just people don't know about it, and they're purposely not notified about it to take advantage of it. It's like, don't ask, don't tell.
That on the head. That on the head.
No.
My dad's ex-military, so
that's what I'm talking about. Cool.
Yeah. Like that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that should be one of those, like, you should be leaving there with as big as a packet as you get as buying a house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were dumb enough to throw your life away for this country for 15 years to an organization that used you as a meat puppet. Here you go.
Not even a number. Not even a number anymore.
No. Like, it's just like, we're going to completely brainwash you, indoctrinate you, and we're actually been at war with these countries for no reason at all for the past 10 to 15 years. Let's send you to go get shot at for shit that we said that we, tried modern colonialism on these countries over resources and got our asses kicked because we didn't learn our lesson in Vietnam and Korea. Like, the fuck? Like, Let me hit this J right quick.
Such a hot topic.
But it shouldn't be like we have enough things here to fix at home to be worried about what the fuck is going on in some country halfway around the fucking world. And half these places usually have protests going on saying fuck America, and bad thing, like there's bulletins sent to embassies about travel advisories and shit. Fuck it, pull the money out. Let's see what happens. Let's see how quickly that tune changes. If these, like, if you don't want to say, okay, bye. Like, no harm, no foul.
I don't mind that at all. We need to be taking care of our own.
Right? Let's actually help people that really need help. Like, I don't know, the modern slaves that are out there, but oops, we can't talk about that. What do I know about that? I'm just the minority here. I'm not allowed to voice my opinion no more. Y'all silencing the white man.
We need you to hold your tongue for a second.
That's right, everybody listening. I am no longer the master of the plantation. I have been usurped and I have been put out to the field. I am now the minority.
Not even by the house, but way out in the field. Deep off in the field. I can't even hear you singing Negro spirituals at this point.
Let me speak on this real quick. Because I actually made a video. I took it down though. So
you said Negro spirituals,
bro. So the other day I'm sitting in my house, right, and my neighbors, three little white girls, come to my door and ask if they can pick up the trimmings from around my bush. They cut my bush, trimmed it, and then left the trimmings. They asked if they can do this, and I'm like, how much you charging? So they're like, it's free. I'm like, damn. Right, so I end up giving them one of my little collectibles, whatever, and let them go to work. But this is the thing. Why was I scared the entire time? Why was I terrified that the fact that these little white girls was outside my house picking up trash and trimmings and leaves and shit?
Because why the
fuck they were little too.
Like, what was it? Just one bush? Like, were they like coming to collect some shit for like a magic spell or some shit? Like,
I don't know. When they for free, their parents might have sent them. They know them in a wheelchair. But I don't know why I was sitting in the house and like my heart was just racing. The fact that they outside my house, like, hey, police knock on my door. Hey, why you got these three little white girls out here doing labor? I don't know.
They recognize their white privilege and they wanted to atone for their ancestors owning slaves. Go do some work for the black man. It'll help the ancestors. It's the metaphorical picking of cotton. Go pick up his switches.
That was.
That's all I can think of. Something like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Black Man. My great grandpa owned your great granny.
Like it was so nice what they did. They even knocked on the door and let me know they was finished and everything. And their dad pulled up and picked them up and they rode off. But like I was so like relieved that nothing happened as far as like anything. Like if they would have got hurt out there, it was bushes. I didn't even check the bushes to make sure no snakes was in there. Anything could happen to them. I'm like, damn. I ain't got insurance right now. I ain't know.
Well, you live in the country, right?
Pretty much.
Were they country white girls or were they city white girls?
Nah, they country.
Well, then if they get any snakes jump at them, little bitches will kill them fuckers. Man, country kids a whole other breed. Come on now.
Oh, they walked to the door and was like, "Hey, we done. Oh yeah, we caught this snake," and walks off skipping.
Dude, if they were super country, they would have said, "Hey, we caught it. We cut its head off. We skinned it. You can make it for dinner right now."
Right. They wouldn't have been asking to pick up sticks. They've been asking for some charcoal and use your grill because they want to make some lunch right quick. Like, excuse me, miss. So we done caught this diamondback in the bush. Susie over there got it with the clippers, and I cleaned it and I put it in your waistband. Can we use your charcoal right quick,
not say
sir?
Waistband. The country ass waistband.
Hold on. I got another one. So I'm not the only black guy in the neighborhood, but my friends just so happen to be white. All three of my neighbors around me are white, so I'm sure they're not gonna.
Oh, so you have three white friends there? Aren't you tolerant?
Oh no, it's like 10 of them. No, but bet.
Oh, there's 10 of us. Oh, you feel overwhelmed there. Okay.
So what? I know you got to keep them.
I'm experiencing all this racism really for the first time.
No, it's gonna get worse. All right, so my neighbor owes me like $300, right? So like, damn, I got a whole bunch of yard work, and he told me to call him if I needed help. But I'm not finna pay him because he owed me $300. So I got like a whole bunch of yard work, and I was gonna be out there in the yard, watching them work, bring him some water or something, while he work and stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, Ain't nothing wrong with that, right?
I know what you need to do. I know what you need to do. You need to go on Amazon or you need to go to like Office Depot and you need to get yourself like either like a receipt book or like a guest check. And so every time he comes and does some shit, you write him a little bit of bill and subtract it so that way he knows what his totals left.
Oh man, and they good friends too, man. They good friends. I wasn't worried about the money. It's just that he kept telling me, hey, if you need help, come, let me know and I'll come over and help you and do whatever you need me to do. And I'm like, damn, man, he owed me money. It's just like, oh, this is gonna be so racist. Like, reverse racism. Is this reverse racism?
You better treat him like you massive, like not even massive. There is no TER in that word.
Yeah, he will be called boy at random. I know his name and everything, but I might slip and it might happen. I gotta need to call him, bit, right?
Like if he's got like fuller lips, you need to call him the big lip one. You know what I'm saying? You need to go full like. If he's got really fair, like if he's balding, you need to call him like Sunspot or some shit. Like go beyond, like go like faux degrading racist.
Sunspot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because that is one thing that it's like if like people actually like the hardcore plantation owners, like they weren't just racist. They were because they could see the difference in the different tribes that got kidnapped and shit. And they were like separating them and shit, like the dark ones, the more fucking crayon, the more like chocolate, like when you were calling somebody chocolate and it was a bad thing, like
Nah, like I already see myself running out the house, with a box. Like, hey, you want some saltines?
Just so you know, you can buy the giant chains that actually can go around people's necks on Amazon 365 24/7, and they're usually one size fits all.
I already got some matching set. Actually comes with the
Damn.
It was a bundle. It was a
get you some burlap sacks and some fucking yarn. Get some fucking yarn so they have to make their own clothes.
Man. Oh man, the costumes. Oh yeah. We're like, hey, I'm gonna have you do this work, but I'm doing this TikTok, so I need you to get into cosplay for me, okay?
You gotta drink like mint juleps on your porch and shit. Like it's like with Google I got
Google right there, man, with the mint leaves on the side.
Google like slave era white people drinks or some shit, and just and that's all the content is. You're pushing the drink, but in the background it's nothing but the slave labor and it's white people.
Yo, man, I think they would agree to that shit.
That shit would be fucking amazing.
I am not condoning any of this fuckery, but I will say.
But you're not condemning it neither.
I will say, if you really want to go for the bass backwardsness of it all,
okay.
Have you dressed up in the chain, looking like Toby from Roots, and then have them dressed in their colonial attire, all prim and proper, doing the dirty work.
God damn, you a genius.
I actually, you know what? My homegirl Noelle, who I was on the phone with while you guys were before we got all set up, she actually at home in Atlanta, around the Atlanta area, she has costumes. So once she's done with this 3-month run in Chicago, and she's back home, we can get costume. We can get proper wardrobe on set.
Nice. All right. So once I get them to sign the agreement, how long would y'all be able to get on set?
Probably like we're going to be looking at like September. It'd be one of those, but it would be one of those. If we're going to do it, you were going to shoot it right.
Right. Hey, we're in South Georgia, man. We can do it right.
Do it as a segment like Roots the deleted scenes.
Deleted scenes or outtakes?
Yes. No, we can't. You gotta be careful with the outtakes because Chappelle's Show did the outtakes.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the thing with the baby, him getting pissed on. I literally had to run to the bathroom when that first aired on Comedy Central. Like that was one of like that yeah, but like outtakes could work. It's just
if Chappelle can do it, we can do it.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just part of my autism. It fucking just my brain just like, oh, this person already did that too. I just don't like being hacky.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, it's one of those like it's a Deep Impact Armageddon thing. It's like they're different movies, but they're very similar.
Right.
Interesting.
Like it's like I've been making and editing videos for like years. I got some of the stupidest videos that like I got some real like high ranking people to do. I'm talking about idiotic.
Oh, you've got some amazing content. That's why I fuck with you. That's why I when I first saw like, dude, your Darth Vader is probably one of the best. And it sucks that you're in a chair because I still want to do that Jason project. And if I have to get like a motherfucking MS, like a Milwaukee School of Engineering student to give you some robot legs, we'll figure out a way to make it happen. Because
I seen something on Temu. I was thinking about getting that set on Temu.
You know, either we're gonna get you under costume or you're gonna be killed by Jason.
Let me ask the question because I was under the impression that this was temporary. So some shit happened. Are you permanently chair ridden, my boy?
So I probably months away from surgery. Basically, I got freaking shits on my nerves in my spine. So when I stand up, everything goes numb.
Gotcha. So therefore, you can't support yourself.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, it's worse at sometimes than than others. But
so
yeah.
I guess my underlining question, because I am the chocolate bear that cares. That's my Care Bear name, I guess. Chocolate Bear. Bear Care.
I'm not calling a grown man Chocolate Bear.
All right, DD. Dark Daddy. But this is something that they can fix, right?
Yes.
Or we don't know yet.
Yes.
The surgery should make you better.
Right. Initially, they couldn't find out what was doing it to me. Like I was actually collapsing completely and hitting the ground, numb, can't move. So they couldn't find out what was doing it. But the most recent X-rays actually showed fluid and cysts. Yeah, so that's something that they can remove. So I got high hopes. You know, I be praying and stuff.
All right.
Now it's just hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Basically, love the VA. Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
This is that bullshit that I'm talking about. You should already be that because, like, even after you have the surgery, dude, that rehab is gonna suck. I know you're too stubborn not to do it and make it through and then start walking again because you're a stubborn motherfucker. But
they can't hold me down.
Yeah. Even when you fail, you're gonna have the good days and the bad days, but you're gonna push on through because you a stubborn asshole and you got too much to fucking prove. Like, you should be in that phase now. There should be no wait. Like, I'm sorry. Not to go back on that rant. I'm sorry.
I got you.
Like that's my point, is that there should be no hurry up and wait for the vets. Like, you're broken. You served your country for how many years? We got you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and all the cool DARPA shit too should be at your disposal. Because you like, dude, they should have some like Iron Man fucking roadie fucking legs they can hook you up with in the meantime.
Yo, my neighbor, he already got his arm. I got my next door neighbor. He's missing his arm. He lost it while he was in, and yeah, we retired.
Was it Tony Stank?
No, it was something. It was something.
I don't think he caught it.
What was it?
He said,
I said, did it come? Was it registered? Was it addressed to Tony Stank?
Now that would have been nice. Wasn't we talking about him getting the freaking the little hand? We were supposed to find that, and I was supposed to like present it to him.
Huh. No, I don't remember that.
You forgot about that conversation?
Yes.
Unacceptable.
I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
So
I'm
once
not saying
again,
it didn't happen. I just don't remember it.
so once again, to recap, I am handicapped, and so here's the joke. All right,
Handy's capable. Oh yeah, the
Handy's
strong
capable.
hand. Yeah.
There you go.
Get a fucking prosthetic arm that's the strong hand from Scary Movie.
Yeah, damn.
Yes.
God
Yes. That needs to happen.
God damn.
So Alan, man, hold on. Let me give you some content. Okay, so I pulled. So me and my wife pull up into the driveway, and I hear a motorcycle coming, and my neighbor pulls up and does like a freaking stall and everything, and hits down and then yells at me. Have you ever seen a one-armed man drive a dirt bike? And I yelled back at him, no, I have. And we laughed.
And that was
and
it.
we laughed. That was it. That was it, man.
Oh God, that's awesome.
But he needs, because like with the prosthetic arms, like they have the technology now where you can use your nub to manipulate fingers and shit. So he could actually have like it bent at the proper angle so it's not uncomfortable, and you can still use the little nub or whatever he has to attach it to, and still manipulate the fingers on the strong hand. The puppetry shit nowadays is amazing.
Nice.
Yeah,
This
so
man, he
his is gonna be different. Yeah, his is gonna be different because he has like it's just a show. It's up to the shoulder. So he explained to me. Yeah, they're making his right now, and he says it's like nervous system or something like that. That'll
he's going cyborg.
Yeah, like he tried to explain it to me, but yeah, to where he like does something, man. But yeah, he has no
sign up for some shit.
Hey, if I could, I would, man. I would have thought I would have had a new spine by now, or at least an implant.
Let me ask you this: if like you go through the surgery, you go through the rehab, you know, you're walking for a couple of years, and it ends up failing again, and like it comes back, would you like go through the surgery again and rehab again, or would you sign up, see if there's a cyborg type program?
Or you just find Karmatage and you learn how to manipulate it so that you can continue walking using your magic and not have it taken from you like old boy did at the end of the movie. Problem solved. True. Problem solved.
I've actually been practicing my chi. You know, I do Tai Chi every week. So I have been practicing, focusing my chi. Dragon Balls.
He does roll chi.
So let me know when you start flying it. And when you find Capsule Corp and all that.
I'm sorry. You know I love you. I'm sorry.
I'm already getting ready for the glow, man. I'm ready.
You got the glow.
Like, would you do the cyborg route, like legitimately? Like, would you see if there's some experiment you sign up for?
So to answer that, like I think I told you about my mom. She's already cyborg.
Yeah. That's kind of like where I was asking, like, because like she's had some, like you've seen it firsthand. You know what I mean?
Right. So she's my courage. Like I would go for it if it would give me my legs back, and I would do it.
Right.
That's fucking cool. I respect the hell out of that.
Like my issue is the pain. Like my buddy across the way, his arm is gone, but he has no pain. Yeah, that's my problem.
Well, I mean, dude, that's the phantom stress pains. Like, dude, it's go live with something. Then you keep
reaching for it, keep reaching with.
Yeah, that's therapy for the rest of your life.
That is true.
That's insta PTSD. You know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, that's something we also got to recognize more in the society is like there's a lot of like it's not everybody. As much as there's a lot of people that are claiming professional victimhood, there's a lot of fucked up people out there that are getting ignored that genuinely need help. Like,
yeah, true.
And I hope I hope he's getting help. Like,
yeah,
because I know the bad days I go through.
He told me the money makes him happy.
That it'd make me happy.
He said Yeah, he said the money makes him happy, and he has everything he could ever want, man. He said he wants something, he go out and get it. So he said he is very much happy.
Is he getting like the is he gonna be able to use his fingers on his arm? Is it gonna be like that gangster? Or don't you know yet?
He says the one that they're building, yes, he'll be able to actually close and grab with it.
That's nice. Fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Would you guys, if in our lifetime there was a like, you could get like your phone implanted in your like your hand or like an actual like internet chip in your brain, would you do it?
So it's funny you say something like that. So I think back to stuff like iRobot and Minority Report, and I was always thinking of something more from like the vehicular standpoint of technology, where your whole screen and your windows are your monitor, so to speak. So everybody has night vision when they're driving, and if you have that on and everyone has that on, you know, lights coming back at you won't blind you because everybody's using their night vision from their windshields and their windows and their rear windshield and all that stuff. So to have that kind of capability where you kind of press your arm on some, you know, Power Rangers next level shit, where a screen pops up from you holographically like some Tony Stark whatnot shit, I would sign up for it. I would, just to have that hub built in. That would be dope. Almost like having a Dragon Ball Z Scouter.
Yeah, I would need to have it in like glasses format. Like I may have it like in the corner of my eye, but like I would have to have like a glasses type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not with that. I don't even like having my cell phone. I am eventually going to disappear off into the woods and survive off of nature guy.
I'm half and half. I'm the type of dude where it's like I'm still gonna have my phone when I'm in nature because I know how to use it as the tool that it actually is. Like I come from the generation where I was learning like basic computer code before there was such thing as like the internet fully. Like so I have my Go phones. You know what I mean?
And my little pink IBM that I found in the trash can that I fixed.
Like I still have a 686 in my basement in proper storage that I can pull out and still hook up to the internet. Like, damn, I'm good. Yeah. But I'm also the type where I realize I have to have an atlas. I need a couple textbooks, you know, just because I don't know all my knots and different techniques, and but I know how to look stuff up and I know how to like do like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how do I make this specific recipe? Well, here's my cookbook. How do I clean this specific animal? Oh, I got to go this deep. Okay, I know how to go that deep. Here we go.
So ideally, I would want you both have seen my man cave and what I have in here. And so essentially what I would want is an underground bunker that is essentially the size of the first floor of my house. So, you know, I still have access to technology if I need it. I still have internet access, strong internet access that runs deep and underground and whatnot, but I would have it secluded off like old dude in Kiss the Girls, where he was out there or Silence of the Lambs, whichever the one it was, and unattainable, not easily attainable from the rest of society. So I would have something like that so that I could survive the zombie apocalypse. I could survive the nuclear apocalypse. I you know, whatever the case may be, and still have the technology that I need, because as much as I can be alone and left to my own devices, if I could have my cartoon library that I have on DVD and my console, I'll be straight. I don't need to communicate with anybody.
Yeah.
But I'd want all that stuff underground deep enough to where I could survive and maintain. I haven't seen that the sequel to the Cloverfield movie, but with John Goodman, he survived down there for a hot minute. So I want something like that, but not on the crazy spectrum.
Oh, dude, trust me. Before I die, I want to have a compound. Like I want to have a compound where there's like 2 or 3 like guest houses where if people want to come stay, you're more than welcome. But like, I want to have a good 2,000 acres where like there's the 2,000 outside open perimeter, and then there's the 1,000 marked off patrolled by lethal drones and booby traps that's clearly marked with a fence of cross this line at your own risk. Basically, come in here without permission, you're gonna fucking die.
Hey, I'm gonna go all Rambo, man. I'm gonna dig tunnels, and all my life I've loved to dig. So that I already know.
I have planned out ideas in Minecraft just because I can simulate like water flow of like sewage and like redstone for electricity. Like, dude, I've shown Aldez some shit that I've done. Like, I've designed bunkers.
I built cities on Minecraft. Cities, yeah. I've gone in and built huge statues, man. Me and my kids, my kids and my wife, all four of us, man.
You play Java on Minecraft. Do you do Java or do you Bedrock?
No, we was on ourselves back then, but then I got it on every system and my computer. Yeah, when we found out about it was right. I found out about it was on the PC, and then I introduced it to my family on the phone. And then when it got onto the systems,
I have Bedrock, which is the one that's on the systems, and it's on the computer. It's like the one that it's like you're playing PC, you can cross-platform. But I also have the Java one, which is the one I mainly play on. Like, oh, dude, like,
freedom.
Dude, this new seed that I just started, bro. I started out originally as a hardcore game, and I lasted like fucking like 24 legitimate game hours without dying. I got like skulk below me enough to summon a warden. I got sensors enough to harvest to use them with redstone. Like, dude, I got four villages around me, a bunch of biomes. It's like, dude, it's the perfect setup. Like, I already got fucking Eyes of Ender Ender. I can find the end portal now.
Yeah, I did all that, man. I haven't played in years, man, but I still keep it on my system.
I love it. Like, I love doing like just building. Like, doing the quest and shit is fun. Like, here and there, like especially seeing when they add new stuff, because like the archaeology now, you can like find blocks where you need to use a brush and you can't break them. Because if you do, you lose what's inside. And it's anything from a new egg for a new animal to like some decorations for armor, fucking netherite pieces. It's crazy.
All right, so he brought up Minecraft, so I'm gonna take it a little bit further. So I'm on Animal Crossing, New Horizon. Anybody?
Oh, that's where you lost me. I've played it, but
yeah,
I don't have a Switch.
Yo, I done bought everybody's Switches. I done bought the game for everybody. All four of us actually go on and go and trade items and just constantly we go into these secret islands, man. It's insane.
I've seen it played. It's a dope game. Don't get me wrong. It's just I prefer Pokemon over Animal Crossing.
Oh, I play that too. Yeah. Oh man, I didn't get none of the new ones. I think the last one I bought was Shield.
Dude, Sword and Shield are dope. Don't get me wrong. They're good ass ones, but there still ain't nothing like being that old school. Who's got the connector cable?
Hey, I got Ruby. I got freaking Silver. I got freaking. Matter of fact, my game's right behind me. I still got all my games. I still got my Game Boy
Advance. Dude, the Game Boy Advance changed the game like the Super Nintendo changed the game.
Yeah, I got the clear one.
I remember for the longest, when everybody thought that TurboGrafx 16 was going to take over because they were a 16-bit video game, which was hot because Nintendo was 8-bit. It was hot for like a month.
But it was too soon.
Yeah. And then Sega came out and it was like, ooh. And then Super Nintendo came out and it was like, ooh. Because, like, if you think about it, Super Nintendo ran strong until Nintendo 64 came out.
Right.
Like, that's a long, hot minute. That's a long, hot minute.
With all the games they had coming from the US and from overseas, it was plenty. It was
Dude,
plenty for so long.
I was working at a comic book store here in Milwaukee during the 90s and 2000s, dude. Like, I remember playing Final Fantasy 3 and like the full Final Fantasy series on like imported fucking consoles from like distributors that were giving us like tapes to rent of like original Dragon Ball Z of when it was just dubbed, when it was just subtitled. Like before there was such thing as Cartoon Network.
Right.
Or when it was coming about. Pardon me, I'm a little high. I forget how timelines work. But you get my point. Like it's like, dude, did either of you two have a friend or actually have have the PlayStation that had the mod chip in there where you could play?
I had the chip.
Yeah,
the original PlayStation.
Yes.
Yeah, I had the mod in there. My buddy put that in there. My best friend, and he was working at a video game store called Major Players. So it was like Blockbuster and a comic book shop all together. And he learned how to do it there, and he did it to mine, and he used to burn games for me.
Yeah, I actually bought a chip Xbox, the original Xbox, from another soldier that had brought it from South Korea. And that had like 100 games on it, but
nice.
I don't know what happened to that shit.
for the PlayStation, those things were going for a lot of good money, even at a pawn store. If they knew it was modded, they knew they could sell that bitch for fucking high ass cash.
Easy.
Because like, dude, there's a lot of good ass Xbox games out there, and they were worth like what they charged for them. Like
for that time period too, really good.
Yeah. Like, but did either of you for PlayStation 1? Did any of you ever play the game Thrill Kill?
No, I knew of it, but I never played it.
I have a PS1 in my garage, but I don't remember that one.
It was a game that was supposed to come out as a fighter, but because of how violent, graphic, and sexual it was, PlayStation said no. Like, but it's a completely done game. Yeah, it was only available on the black market. There's some ROMs of it out there now, but you didn't have a life meter. You had a "I'm gonna fuck you up" meter, and as faster and faster as that raised to where you got to your finishing move, and then whoever got off their finishing move first on the other person basically won. And it was one of the very first. It was one of the very first games out there that actually utilized the 4-person port system for PlayStation. Like you could have 4 people playing at the same time, and it
like
was
in a Rumble Ring.
Yes, for that time period, yeah. When Nintendo 64 was when they had the 4-person plug, like they had very few games you could use it for, but that was one of them, and you could only play it on a modded one. And like I remember the Burger King game, the fucking Pepsi game. Oh man,
and you went way back.
Oh,
way back.
I will say this, dude. As much as I love how new gen games and consoles and a lot of them are good out there, PlayStation 2 and the first Xbox, not Xbox One, not Xbox 360, but the first Xbox in PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 era is peak gaming.
I had fun with it. I just appreciate the graphics nowadays.
Yeah.
Way more.
But console wise, dude, that first Xbox was fucking amazing.
I have
had it all.
I have the Halo. I have that Halo 2 Special Edition original Xbox in my closet right now.
That's money right there.
Yeah,
like that's big money.
I have all the stuff.
That would be something to be worthwhile going to like conventions and getting it autographed. Like seriously, like if you get Halo people to sign that, especially the people that helped design that game, it'll go up in value.
You ain't lying.
I like watching like Antiques Roadshow type shows of all kinds, and yeah, it's weird how it works.
And I wonder, I said I got a PS1 out there, inside of it is the original 007 disc.
Nice.
The last good fucking James Bond game.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was in there until I was like unpacking, and it popped open, and I was like, "Holy shit, it's a game in here!" And it is 007.
Man, I miss the wrestling games from the PS1, PS2 era the most, to be honest. Like, for me, WrestleMania 2000's character creator was so OP, but like the Nitro games were fucking dope too. Like, those were so good.
Awesome. I remember vaguely some of those, but my favorite wrestling game was on the regular Nintendo, where you had that Starman dude.
Oh, you're going old school.
Yeah, I love
Just
that.
you're talking just wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah.
That shit was fun.
Oh, dude. I remember, dude, Tecmo Super Bowl. Do you remember Tecmo Bowl, dude? Like,
Tecmo Bowl, man.
Excite Bike.
I loved Excite Bike, and I loved Kung Fu.
I still play all of that, man. I still play all of it. I've downloaded so many old school games on my Switch and on my Xbox X. Yeah,
Nice.
gotta have that, man.
Like, where did you get them from? Because I have an Xbox Series X.
All right, so on the Xbox Series X, you got the oh wow,
Game Pass.
Yes, with Game Pass, you have like Pac-Man and all the little shooting games. I think it was a Galaga and the Centipede. Yeah, you can find all those games in there, man. All you got to do is type it in.
Interesting. Okay.
You can find.
I spent a long time looking at it one time, and I was like, I'm not finding anything that I want.
One thing that I had
Switch, not on your Switch, you have emulators that you go in and you'll see the Super Nintendo emulator, the Sega Genesis emulator. Most of them are free. Some of them you gotta like pay monthly to be able to use, like subscribe to. But they do have some that are free.
I'm subscribed to Game Pass though. I'm subscribed to Game Pass. So I don't know.
One game I've been having a hard time finding online, and that's the Atari 26, the wooden console. That one's version of this first version of Pac-Man, because because the arcade version was all high graphics and cool color. But I remember the one at home was like shitty, like it was so bad. I'm not shitting on it. It was fun to play at home. But like, it just made going to like a restaurant even more better.
Right,
dude. I think I still have the cat. I have to look, but I remember playing Donkey Kong on the 2600, dude. Oh
was
my
it
god!
Was it Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo where you had like the Indiana Jones rail car?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I used to spend
with his kid.
Yeah, I used to spend.
Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong.
Yeah. I used to spend hours playing that.
That's one of the things I'm actually looking forward to with seeing the Super Mario movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Donkey Kong fucking Country, dude. I was in Target for so long. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm just high and rambling.
You good?
Hold on. Here's one. I got arrested for trying to steal that for the Super Nintendo.
The Target display or just the cartridge?
No, the game, the cartridge. Yeah, grabbed my pants and tried to walk out the store. They yanked my ass. Where you going? Hard lesson learned, but I really wanted the game.
That's why I'm glad my criminal ass had a fucking paper route as a kid, because everything that I really wanted to steal, I saw how the security systems were, so I just bribed the people at the fucking store. I was a dirty kid. Oh, dude, I was dirty with it. I was a smart criminal.
Yeah.
I'll spend fucking $5 to make 10. Shit.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
Oh, I'm dirty with it, dude. I'm dirty with it. I've been a person of interest, but I've never been arrested.
What was that?
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I'm one of those that I'm that's a conversation we can have at a different time in person when I come down in the spring. and I make your ass come to set? Because you're coming to set. You don't have an option.
I was going to ask you, what part of Georgia are you in?
I'm actually on the other side. I'm in Savannah, on the coast.
I was going to ask you that. I was born in Hinesville at Fort Stewart.
So you know Little Wissy then?
Yeah, I was tiny, man. I didn't spend much time there. I was
okay.
I was baby.
Yeah. That's where I retired from. That's where I came on.
But my sister went down there to go to Georgia Southern for a couple of years, so we got to visit.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, it has grown a little bit. A little bit. Yeah. They have a Longhorns.
Wow.
Yeah. They come up.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely down to come visit and check it out. But I'm gonna be down there working, so you can come visit and see how the fuck we do this. You be in the chair. I don't give a fuck. Come see the work.
And to get out the house, man.
Mm-hmm. And we ain't gonna sit there and baby your ass. But if you fall, we'll laugh at you and help you up.
Hey, I'll be over there eating whatever snacks y'all got. Be high
dude. I gotta send you the fucking email, dude. But I got the shoot laid out. My homegirl Noelle, who is gonna be doing the puppetry, visual effects, and standard make. Like, dude, we got everything planned out. The last night we're having a catered Jamaican a restaurant come in and like cater a meal.
Right.
Like, oh, dude, like it's oh, dude, it's independent, but it's gonna be nice. Like, it's gonna be a small crew, but and the fucked up thing is to go on a rant, and I do apologize for this ahead of time because it was a conversation I had. I'm gonna end up hiring mostly female crew because like most of the dudes out there are fucking assholes. Like, it's hard out here for an independent filmmaker, bro.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Like, it sucks that I have to look at it like that way, though, dude. But like all these dudes I'm coming across, like they can't take the direction and orders. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not getting a director of photography. You're basically a cameraman right now. You're gonna do what I tell you to fucking shoot. I already know how this is supposed to look. You're here as an extension of me. Let's do a fucking job. I'm sorry if that sounds fucking cocky, but
right.
You know, opinions are important, and I value people talking to me, but have something constructive and don't just like, dude. There's a lot of dudes out there in this fucking game that throw a hissy fit. Like these groups, dude. These fucking groups, bro. I gotta light another fucking joint for this shit. Like, I do, bro. Like, dude, no, for real. Like, just trying to fill like basic roles, like a videographer that wants to be like a director of photography. Like, you haven't done it yet. You think you want to do it. Like, those are the people I want to work with. You know what I'm saying? Have some good ideas. You know, think what you want to do, and I'm going to give you kind of an opportunity to do that. You're not off the leash, but it's a lax leash, right? And it's just a bunch of fucking crybaby fucking alpha male, you know, I'm a red pillar type of assholes. It's like, dude, no.
Not right now.
And I'm in the modern sense. I'm not a feminist. I'm someone that wants actual equality. I don't give a fuck about equity. Everybody gets the same opportunities to fail as they do to succeed. That's what it should be. I know it's not. I'm not stupid. You know, it's the dream. It's what we got to work towards as people. That's why it's like, I may joke about being the minority of this conversation, but it's a joke. Like, but I know people are going to hear that and take that seriously, and it makes it even funnier. He's being advertently racist. It's like, okay. I didn't think I was, but please tell me what else I'm doing. But I think we should do an episode where we should do an online commentary and initial reaction for Into the Spider-Verse 2 when that comes out.
Yeah, I've already seen it 3 times now.
I'm going to end up probably waiting until it comes to the home just because I have to do other things. But
hey, me too. Same here.
I ain't gonna front. I might drop when it first comes out and it's some money. I might drop some money on for it just because I know it's gonna be dope and worth it.
Yeah, well, like I told you, it is now my favorite Spider-Man film.
And that says a
Damn.
lot.
That says a lot.
And because, I mean, No Way Home was a lot of fan service. And don't get me wrong, Into the Spider-Verse Part 2 is a lot of fan service also, but they did it right. And someone made a point on one of the groups I'm in. Into the Spider-Verse was No Way Home. I mean, No Way Home before No Way Home was No Way Home.
Yeah.
Because you know, you had a lot of the same elements. And I was like, that's a good goddamn point. And so
Yeah. So Into the Spider-Verse one was pure fan service, but done absolutely perfectly.
yeah, and that actually became my favorite Spider-Man movie, followed probably by still Spider-Man 2, um, and then probably
Wait, which
um,
Spider-Man 2?
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2. Even though I hate Tobey Maguire with all my being, that Alfred Molina made that movie for me.
Yeah. Yeah, he is Doc Ock.
So
He is.
so I liked that. So now my top two spots are Across the Spider-Verse and then Into the Spider-Verse, and then probably um, No Way Home and Spider-Man 2.
Okay. All right. Spider-Man 2 in the top 5.
Yeah, it's still going to be in my top 5,
Yeah.
but barely.
Woo!
Yeah.
Because, like I said,
was...
I never cared for Toby when he was announced. I never cared for Kirsten Dunst when she was announced. I mean, I know a lot of it is what the writers gave him to work with script-wise, but Peter was not a whiny crybaby reading Amazing Spider-Man 1 through like 300 that I've gotten through. I was like, that wasn't Peter to me. That was not Peter. And even though Tom Holland's Spider-Man is a take on the Ultimate Spider-Man that came out in 2000, 2002, whatever, he still encompassed a lot of Peter's traits, but they made Tom Holland's Peter such a fuck up that he had to have several people die on his watch before he learned his lesson, and that didn't happen either. He like that many people didn't have to die for him to learn his lesson. Aunt May dying in Far From Home, I mean No Way Home was just ludicrous, was stupid. He already lost Uncle Ben before this. He lost Tony, and then now you have him losing May, which is his anchor to reality, more so than Mary Jane ever was and ever will be. And I'm talking purely comics here, and so yeah, I was upset. I was like, that's so dumb. And I told JP here that movie would have been so much better had two of the smartest people in the MCU, well, in the Marvel universe, not MCU, but two of the smartest people in the Marvel universe would have talked for 30 seconds about the parameters of a dimensional altering spell. It's like you just don't do that. It's like, okay, everyone, well wait, I need the Avengers. Wait, this person knew. Wait, and so all I needed was a 30-second conversation. So the movie pissed me off for that. That pissed me off. So that's what took it down a few notches.
Yep.
But
that was a poor Doctor Strange, and it was cool to see him a more emotional. But yeah, that part right there is like that. That's that.
I was like, you're a rational human being. You're a doctor. And then you're also a sorcerer supreme. You're smart as shit.
There's in spite of Wong, and then there's doing shit right.
Yeah. So with everything that they did in Across the Spider-Verse, save a few minor inconsistencies, not many at all. It is probably the most solid Spider-Man film I've ever seen. And from start to finish. And it really drills down not just the character of Peter Parker and what it means to be Peter Parker, but what it means to be Spider-Man, since we have Miles Morales in here. So it really digs into that whole premise that anything is possible.
And not even just Miles Morales, but all the different examples of people who wear the mantle of Spider-Man to one degree or another.
That's what I was just saying. Yeah, and, you know, it shows you what it is to be Peter Parker, or the incarnation of Peter Parker. You know, Peter Porker, other plays on the name from different cultures, as well as what it means to be Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, whatever the case may be. They did a really good job of showing that dynamic and the burden and also the reward of being such, but more so the burden, because as Peter's all about, well, being Spider-Man is all about not getting credit for shit.
And making sure you pull your punches.
Yep. And but granted, it does explore the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man aspect in a couple subtle ways, where he's a street level hero that the community appreciates and stuff. I liked that. So we'll get a chance to talk about it.
I think it's funny that he's yet another black character that has electrical powers.
Come on now.
Oh, that's
funny. Why you gotta go there?
Because it's a
secondary.
That's funny.
It's still a sad and true archetype in motherfucking cartoons and comics with superheroes, like, and not in the worst ways, because as we all know, Static Shock, like Spawn, are up there with being the top technically independent and studio owned comic and cartoon characters of pretty much all time. Like,
I have Static on my wall, man. I got Static on my wall. That was my hero growing up. That's all I knew at the time. Before I started messing with X-Men and all that.
I never looked at it as a bad thing, though. Like, I get the point of it when it, like, how something can be used as seen negatively, but for me it was like, do you know what you can do with the lightning powers? Like,
here's one without. You remember Shadowhawk?
Oh, dude,
yeah.
I love Shadowhawk. There were two different versions. A black dude and a white dude. Or actually, were there three?
Yeah.
Were there three?
Yeah, it's a whole series of them. It's a whole. They like actually never died. It just like transferred or some shit like that with the.
Somebody taking up the mantle like the Phantom.
Right.
Dude, Shadowhawk. Yeah. I think I learned about him like 92, 93 when he came out.
Yeah, that's the first time AIDS and shit.
Like,
yeah,
I remember
one of them,
Luke Cage, fucking hero for hire and shit, dude. Like, fucking, even the old school Swamp Thing comic books, like, half the assistants were fucking brilliant ass black people helping out the fucking lead white dude. That, it's just like, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I read a few issues of Shadowhawk, and I actually have his entire 100 set trading card series. And I actually I repurchased it back in 2015 when I went on medical leave for having pneumonia for the first time, and it did a number on me. And so I found a couple of complete sets of stuff I had from the 90s on Amazon. So a lot of my Ultra Flare Spider-Man cards, Jim Lee Spider-Man series from 92 cards, all that stuff. I repurchased them all, and then I've told you, JP, about.
Hey, I'm a Shadowhawk lunchbox, man. I used to carry everywhere.
Oh, nice.
Oh, dude. Shadowhawk had one of the dopest fucking designs in Marvel Comics, bro.
Yeah, it was like Wolverine meets Batman.
Yes.
Yeah, with straight bloodlust. Just blood and guts everywhere. I loved it as a kid.
One of them was HIV or had AIDS. Was it the black dude or the white one?
It was the black dude. It was the black guy. He contracted AIDS, and this was his way to live.
Yeah, that's what pissed me off about it. As I got older, I was like, you gotta give the brother.
When I thought about it, like, when I was looking it up, like, because I bought one of his action figures, and when I was looking it up, and I was like, damn, I remember that shit. And then I think about it now, like, why?
Because at the time, it was actually starting to break out largely within the black community, and the writers did it as an actual thing of awareness. Like,
right, of course.
But not everybody was going to take it that way. It was still looked at as a negative.
No, I get. No, it's one of those. I get why, but it's like it wasn't. You know what I mean? It's like I get the perception, but at the same time, it was one of those like, well, why you guys make it a black man? It's like, why is the AIDS and HIV rate in the black community in major cities risen by 50%? They could basically by 5% increments over the past 6 years. Maybe we should pay attention to this shit.
I'm sorry about that outburst.
No,
I'm
at
sorry.
the time,
My apology. My apology.
That shit was that shit was still classified at the time. We didn't know. Now we know. You know what I'm saying? It's a different story. But at the time, they did it was like because people are dying. Like we didn't know.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
just because we white, we weren't in on the fuckery.
Hey, like, I've lost count on how many family members I've lost to it, especially down in Miami, man.
Oh, damn,
no,
for real?
I believe it. I believe it.
It's like, hey, they told me down there, it's like probably 8 out of 10 got it.
Jesus
Women.
Christ. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad.
Yeah, so I know many people that are living with it. And of course you see them on Facebook and doing whatever. It's like, okay. And that's why what the area is like it is now.
Yeah.
And then the fucking shit gets declassified because people die and they can't be prosecuted for crimes against humanity and violating like the CIA policy to not operate on American soil.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I've said the quiet part out loud.
That
like,
part.
My bad. Like it does shine a negative light on that.
As conspiracy nuts. So,
oh, dude, my bad. That it's not a conspiracy if it's fucking true. I'm sorry. It's just how it fucking is. Like that's the power of our fucking government is that they don't hide shit anymore. The Freedom of Information Act, you can find answers to all kinds of shit. That they're like
put people on a t-shirt.
What? It's not a conspiracy if it's true?
I'm putting that on the t-shirt, man. Don't worry. I ain't gonna copyright it. I'll let you get some on it.
Oh, no. Just give me like 10%. I'm good.
Okay, bet.
You know what I'm saying? Give me like good 10, 15, a good cut depending how sales go. You know what I'm saying? If sales start going better, we can renegotiate. I'm not greedy, but at the same time, I ain't trying to get no 360 deal. You know what I'm saying? We got to be equal in this bitch. I treat people equal. I expect the bet. You know what I'm saying? Like.
So now, do you want me to have like signed Cook Media or signed? Wait, hold on.
One is Cook People Media,
or signed White Minority. Which one?
The White Minority. People are gonna think it's like a South African or some shit. Like,
yo, man, this is gonna ruin me, but I'm doing it. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'm make it happen.
That's the thing, man. This is why I dislike terms like blurred, even though I understand why they're a thing, because people have had a lot of negative experiences that a subculture had to create within another subculture. And it pisses me off that it exists.
See my hand right now. You can't see my hand raised, but I am raising my hand. Not to stop you, but just to say.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to be like. I get why it exists, and it makes me mad because I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where we basically like created what a gaming convention is with Gen Con. Like I grew up my paper route money went to going to Gen Con. Like I was going down to the convention for 4 days as a kid, not sleeping, spending a bunch of money, getting the good games, and it was a kaleidoscope of people. And like, yeah, you heard stupid people here and there, like whatever, because asshole knows no demographic. But for the most part, like if you were talking shit, it was between like Magic the Gathering players and like Pokemon players and like Legends of the Five Rings, and like it was game based. Like it wasn't until I got on social media that I really like learned about the racism, and it's like, really? Well, where? Let's go kick some ass. Like we're angry, we can release some violence. What's going on?
So I believe when we talk about blurs and stuff like that, like I look at how I grew up and how I was and stuff like that, like the neighborhoods I lived in Miami, anything outside of the norm, they didn't like that shit. So like, you know, I mean,
anything
I got me a
that wasn't
skateboard.
considered black was
somebody took it, threw it out in the road, car runs it over. You know what I'm saying? Got me some skates. Somebody grabs them, takes them off, throws them in the canal. You know what I'm saying? My how I talked at the time, you know, they was like, oh, that ain't how we supposed to be talking. Now I'm fighting. So now I got to learn how to fight. Now I got to protect myself. And now I grow into what would be called the trap. You know, I just had leverage because I've been outside the trap and I was able to travel outside more often than others. And that's how I end up where I'm at. But still the same. It's like when you look at where people are from and what people have been through, we've all been through it in some sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I feel you. I do.
After the race, we've all had some kind of depression and prostitution at some point.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, 100%. Like, it's just in Wisconsin, there is a very large fair racism across the state because we do have some sundown towns. But growing up in Milwaukee, there was a bit of racism, but it was mainly a segregation of the city based on what side you lived on. You could be any side you want, but if you lived on the south side, you kicked it on the south side. Like, people could tell if you lived on the south side, the north side, the east side, the west side. Like, it mattered. Like, growing up, we got into fights over like what parish district you were in.
Interesting.
Like, oh, dude, Milwaukee crazy as hell. Like, we a new breed. Like, and like seeing all the shit that I grew up with, like just basically being like, no, this is D&D. It's like, no, this is World of Warcraft under a D&D banner, but you go do you, boo boo. Like, I'm sorry.
Like, I'm store, but I'm not trying to implicate myself. So we'll save that for another day.
I've played the new D&D, and I'm glad the fact that a lot of people are coming into the hobby is a cool thing. As more people want to enjoy it, enjoy what you want. It ain't no hate like that. It's just growing up in the state where that hobby was born, and it's like, it's a Ron Swanson moment. It's one of those I know more than you.
Right.
Like,
I've seen the looks every time I step around the table, man. I've seen the looks I get. Like,
it's one of those, like, anybody's welcome to come fucking play a game whatsoever. It's just when I start hearing these like newer people that started playing maybe with D&D when Hasbro first got it with 4th edition, before 5th edition came out, and it's like, well, I've been playing for 6 years. It's like, I'm gonna sound old as fuck saying this, but how old are you? Do you know what Gen Con is? Where is Gen Con from in your eyes? Oh, Indianapolis. Yeah, you need to shut the fuck up. It's like you are in my fucking world. It's like, dude, don't. Like, I have a drop box that I made that is specifically all of the 1st and 2nd edition rules for the original Dungeons and Dragons from TSR. It's like 4 terabytes. All the novels, everything. Like, dude. And yeah, like, and seeing, I'm happy that there's people that are appreciating the culture, but I'm seeing more people exercise because that would normally be accepted by us weirdos because of new people coming into like the nerd spaces. If that makes any sense.
Right. Now I feel you.
It's like when you move to a new state and you try changing the state that you're moving to where you came from. That type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, y'all being bullies instead of trying to have conversations with people you disagree with over some nerd shit. Like, that's not nerd culture. Like,
it's not. It really isn't.
If you that mad about it, take your asses outside the convention doors, probably over in the alleyway, go fight about it, come back in, buy some overpriced pizza. Like, oh, dude, back in the days of Gen Con, at the fucking, even at the Mecca Arena here in Milwaukee, dude, there would be some legitimate fights over some fucking trades, or like somebody thinks they got ripped off on like buying a sword or something. And the cops would let it happen because, dude, they're that mad. Let them fight. You know, no one really got seriously injured.
Extroverts.
Oh, dude, some of them would fight like fucking straight up, like it would not be a quote unquote typical manly fight. There's a lot of slap fighting occurring. Like people that think they know how to fight, but it's just like, time for amusement. But like that was also back in the day when people communicated. You know, it's like
Right.
when you were happy you had a black character that would like you had a wide variety of characters you could go read. Like, dude, it didn't matter if like, oh, well, I wish Professor X was black. Okay, well, personally, me growing up reading Luke Cage and Falcon comics, I wish they were white sometimes. How about that fucking shit? Because those are people I looked up to and I read. I know. How about I just appreciate the fucking good ass stories here and not give a fuck about, you know what I mean? It's just like.
So there's a duality to that. And, you know, I will oppose you on certain things. In order to understand that, you would have to be black growing up in a time where you didn't have anything to identify with. And Luke Cage and Falcon.
But there was.
Hold on. Luke Cage and Falcon weren't around right away when we were growing up. Well, he was out by the time I was born, but I'm talking about the people who were around when all of that stuff first started coming out in the 60s. There wasn't anything for them to really identify with. No,
hold up. Time, pause right there. 1 second. Luke Cage was one of the people that disappeared during the Infinity Gauntlet saga because they already had enough people that they were working with in comic books. Because they literally had to eliminate a shit ton of people because there was too many people they were working with. Luke Cage's comic runs was going hard. Falcon's comics was going hard because he was popular with the West Coast Avengers. I'm talking about the general comic book scene, where even at that time you had a lot of writers that were quote unquote at the time people of color. I'm sorry, I don't really like the phrase, but if we're going to be accurate, we're going to be accurate of how the industry was at that time. Like, there was a lot of people working behind the scenes. It wasn't really acknowledged just because comics weren't acknowledged. You saw these nude broadcast tapes at conventions, like from the small ones at VA halls. And I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm going to stop in a second so you can continue. But like, I know these comics were present. And that I just have to say that these guys were active because at the time, the Infinity Saga was starting when we were growing up because we're roughly the same age. And they literally had shit going on and had to just like snap them away because they were active. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go full autism on you like that, but.
You're fine. But the thing I'm getting at is Luke Cage didn't make his first appearance until the early 70s. And so you had almost 1972. And, you know, you had, and even before Marvel, you had Batman and Superman out there with action comics and stuff. So yes, there wasn't a lot of black identifiable characters. Now, me growing up,
I agree. In the beginning, I agree. I just wanted to state that. I just trying to cover all bases because people are going to be all like, "Well, you said this." It's like I don't want to hear that bullshit. I agree.
No, it's like don't twist what I'm saying.
I'm not.
No, not you.
No,
I'm just saying, listeners.
Or accessibility. No characters or accessibility.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of those stories were tailored towards white little boys back in the day. You know, no cap. And so they weren't going to want to see anybody that didn't look like them. But then when you have people like myself that didn't grow up in that time, I can only empathize and be like, okay, you have a little kid that likes a superhero and whatnot. Like, how cool would it be to see somebody that looks like me? Then you get the whole birth of representation matters and whatnot. And I totally get that. And so me growing up in the era that I did, where I was not part of the civil rights movements or didn't have to listen to stories about my parents getting hosed or anything like that, I just grew up liking Spider-Man and Captain America, like my number one and number two. And I didn't ever really once think, wow, that'd be cool if Spider-Man was black. I wasn't looking at it at that perspective as a 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10-year-old. It was more like, okay, this character is cool. I love this character. I love this story. And me being artsy fartsy, I like how he's drawn. I like the way the lines are made. I like this. I like that. So I identified with it, and that's become my staple. You know, 40 years later. So I liked him because I liked him. Now, having Miles as a Spider-Man as well was a big deal for Black and Latino kids. And I wasn't young enough to be impacted as much as they could, but I absolutely appreciate that they have a Spider-Man that looks like them. And so for me, I have two Spider-Mans that I look up to. The OG that I fell in love with, and then now I have this, more urban, hip version of him that is just as smart and not dumbed down in any kind of capacity and represents my culture. So it's a positive, it's a plus. But I didn't grow up looking for it per se, just because I was more focused on the character. And then you can get into conversations about, well, this character doesn't need to be Black, this character doesn't need to be white, this character doesn't need to be Asian, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of that exists, but some of the way that these characters are written based on their demographic, and it has to be that way.
I would like to counter one point, not counter, but just like
hold on, before you do that, let me say one thing.
Oh my God, we hear it from the handicap section.
Me and him was talking about this before, and
half the peanut gallery.
This was my issue with Miles Morales, right? He live in the hood, but he ain't hood. Like they had him acting, just out of character of someone that lived in that type of environment.
I'm gonna counter that. I'm gonna counter that with 3 syllables.
I go counter. I thought I was already countering.
DJ Who Kid. DJ Who Kid is the DJ for 50 Cent in Queens. Right. Is where that mother he was that corny ass non-hood kid in the hood. So it worked. Not every and plus with not wanting. I'm sorry to speak on, and it's just rare for me to speak in defense of Spider-Man as a brand, because I'm not a huge fan of Spider-Man.
Okay, we'll allow it.
I can see why they didn't make him hood, because of the stereotype.
Right, and I appreciated that. I wouldn't have wanted him to be a stereotype. To me, Miles represents, and his family represents, a middle class version of the Huxtables. They're not rich, but they are classy, but they live in the hood. And if you think about, I can't remember the character's name, but I remember he was a character on A Different World, and he was smart as hell. But
everybody hates Chris.
No. I'm talking about From a Different World. The Cosby.
Yeah.
There was a student at the college. No, you're good. There was a student at the college who was like this badass student, but he was
I remember.
He was a thug, and he had to play a certain persona. And so I appreciate the fact that Miles is a Black kid in the hood, smart as hell, can still, I hate this, can still talk Black, but still be as smart as he is. Speak the dialect, and you get that in Across the Spider-Verse even more. Actually, you get a little bit more of that in this movie.
I was hoping for a New York accent, that cockiness.
Yeah,
that's what I was looking for.
Well, so think about when he's in the Spider-Man suit. It comes out when Miles is in the suit. You can hear it because he tries to alter his voice, especially when he's around his dad. When he's around his dad.
Right. And he is young in that movie.
And
this is
so,
what. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and think about it this way: he is the son of a cop. The son of a cop. I'm the son of a nurse and an ex-military person. So I used to get teased for talking white, and I hate that. Right. I hate that nomenclature as well too. But if anybody, we've had this conversation before, all three of us. If anybody ever heard me speaking, they would not think that I'm a Black dude. And if anyone heard me talk about the things that I like, they would not think that I'm a Black dude. And so
you're an Oreo. We love you.
and so I like the fact that Miles was presented not only for Black people, but for Puerto Ricans and other Latinos to be a well-spoken, educated person who didn't forget where he came from. I love that about the character. I absolutely love that about the character. And they humanize him at a more ground level in this movie, in the sequel. And you get to see that. So you get to see, you know, his version of what Peter Parker is to Miles Morales. So it's
I feel that too. This is my thing. Like just like we was talking about, how we see a character and we envision them as us. So like I'm like, oh, I went to the hood and you know I had to stop talking proper and I had to learn how to fight and I had to do all this stuff. It changed my I had to change. I had to, or I get my ass kicked every day. So I ain't have no. Yeah, I ain't have no choice. You know, I ain't have no brothers, no brothers my age or people that can. It was just me. So I see him, and I'm like, you know, he's been in the hood for this long. So I was looking for that. I understand exactly what you said.
Yeah, and so there's some subtleties in the movie if you watch the first two of his code switching to a degree, like real subtle. Real subtle. So it makes me think if they had some black people on the production of both of these films, because there's some real subtleties in it. Because when he talks to his dad as Spider-Man, you can hear him almost New York out a little bit.
Some call it stereotypes, some call it life skills.
Mm-hmm. So
my whole thing, although with Spider-Man, is I'm shocked it took as long as Miles Morales for there to be a black Spider-Man. Just because, no, hear me out on this. Hear me out. Like before we had Miles, we had Spider-Man 2099. Mm-hmm. I do believe that Spider-Man, is not a white person. Is not a white person.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Also, around the same time, when we had that beautiful Green Lantern by the name of John Stewart come out, and the not only critical positive response, but the overwhelming fan response of about fucking time, and you just made an amazing character. The fact that we did not get a Spider person like that actually shocked me.
Yeah,
like that is my only gripe when it comes to the Spider-Man stuff, because it's like, yeah, if you look at it from the perspective of every time that basically Peter Parker's in a fight, he's pulling his punches and being just a generally good person, you can truly appreciate the overall story arc of Spider-Man more. There's some stories I like, but like,
and some people, real quick, just to throw don't forget your train of thought. And some people didn't understand how much Peter valued other people's life, even if they were street level criminals or even the big bads. He pulled his punches, and Doc Ock learned that firsthand in Superior Spider-Man when he punched the fucking jaw off of Scorpion, and he said, "Shit," what was I gonna say? It was at that moment that Dr. Octopus realized that Peter's that nigga. And he could have ended me a long time ago, many issues ago, and he was taking it easy on me because he didn't want to kill me. And if anybody, I know you have JP, but Dark Daddy, I'll say it just to feed your ego.
No doubt.
Have you read the Back in Black series from Spider-Man, or at least know about it when he punked Wilson Fisk in the goddamn jail?
No, I haven't read that one.
Okay, just so
let me ask you this question. Have you read Batman's The Dark Knight Returns, the Frank Miller book?
I read it a long time ago.
I don't do DC. Yeah, I don't do any DC.
Oh, bro. Oh, I
don't do any DC, man.
We need to, dude. The Green Lantern.
I got something against DC. I'm not even gonna put it out on here. I'm gonna save that for another story.
Trust me, we can have a conversation about how companies are actually run compared to the content that comes out of it, because you have people like Jeff Johns that are motherfucking masterpieces, and knowing what you like and how much you love Star Wars, you're gonna fall in love with the Green Lanterns. Like
I've seen all these. I just don't. I don't collect none of the characters. I don't get none of the comics. I don't do none of that stuff.
I'm gonna send you a link to 2 videos from Comics Explained on YouTube. One is gonna be Blackest Night, because the Green Lantern always is like by darkest night or by brightest light or blackest night or bright
and blackest day and brightest night. Like, in brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
He almost didn't have it.
This homie named Jeff Johns, who's written. You can Google him later. He has written some of the best comic book lines out there since Jim Lee. He came in and said, "Hey, I'm doing this with Green Lantern with DC," and basically they were like, "Okay." And the one video is going to be 9 hours long, and I highly suggest you listen to all 9 hours, because
I'm looking at
that good.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm looking at his shit, and all the movies that he was in are trash. But let's go. Let's keep going.
Wait, what movies? What movies? What movies are you talking about?
All of them. Freaking Green Lantern was trash. Justice League was trash. I'm sure Flashpoint is going to be trash too. Aquaman.
Time out.
I'm sorry.
I don't give a shit about the live action versions of the movie. Hold on, Hookah Master. I don't give a shit about the live action films. That Green Lantern film was just
we're not talking about that.
Do you have Max, formerly known as HBO Max?
No, I can get it though.
So what you need to do? Hold on, JP. What you need to do? You need to go and watch Green Lantern First Flight, Green Lantern Emerald Knights, the brand new Green Lantern with Jon Stewart that just came out last year or at the beginning of this year, and those animated features with Green Lantern are amazing. And then if you want to get even more deep into what the Green Lantern Corps is, but still not just focus solely on them, watch the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited shows on Netflix or Max. Because they're both on that series is on Netflix as well as Max right now. So you'll get an idea. They're space police.
Everybody, pop the brakes real quick. Y'all ain't even heard why I don't even fuck with them.
You're talking about the live action movies, which has nothing to do with. We're talking the comics and the cartoons, the good shit. Like,
once again, y'all heard why I don't fuck with them.
Well, go ahead. Well, school us.
I'm sorry. We just get overexcited. We had the zoomies for a second. Pardon us.
And we had to make sure that you weren't referring to the live action cockamamie bullshit that does not give any credence to how badass they are. Now, mind you, I'm a Marvel boy through and through, but I do love all different types of characters. I love Image, I love Firestorm, I love Dark Horse, I love all those different comics companies, but I grew up more into Marvel because that's what I was exposed to. But
I started out with Image with freaking I started out with Image. Freaking Max. I started out. That's what I started with, and then I found Shadowhawk, and that's when I started looking into like X-Men and shit like that. But before, I was all into Image, all in.
So check this real quick, and I'll let you keep going. So, I was in like I said, in Germany. I was 5 years old when my dad was stationed there. So it was Spider-Man and Captain America. Like I said earlier, those are my dogs. And then when I got to the States again in '87. I started picking up more X-Men stuff, and I didn't really get the chance to buy a lot of comic books, so a lot of my knowledge and information came from the Marvel encyclopedias that they used to make back in the day, and the trading cards. I used to get the trading cards and read every single one of those cards multiple times to learn different stuff about stuff, and same with the encyclopedias. And then so there were a few times where I was able to get my hands on some of the comics, and in hold on, is it 92 or 91? Hold on. Google is your friend, especially if you're on Discord, and you can Google some shit real quick. X-Men
I'm pure comics. Like I grew up reading, buying them with paper route money. So it's like I come from the comics before I see the movies. Like
Okay,
like
I started collecting back in '95. I got kicked out of Miami. They sent me to Atlanta, and that's when I was able to. There was actual comic store within walking distance.
Yeah,
that's how I learned about comics.
So you need to come visit Wisconsin.
Yeah, to piggyback on your love for Image and whatnot. So, it was 4 years after we moved back to the States and came to Texas. Jim Lee redid X-Men #1 in 1991. And then shortly after that, in 92, you got the iconic cartoon that we do have now that is based off of Jim Lee's designs. And so that got me into X-Men hardcore because of the artwork as well.
Wait, which iconic one are we talking about? Are we talking about or are we talking about X-Men coming your way?
No, not the one pilot episode that we got. I love that. It's sacrilegious that didn't get to continue. But
the Australian Wolverine.
Yeah, I love that. The Pride of the X-Men. That was a great episode. I was ready for more because that came out in the 80s. And then so when Jim Lee was doing that and he was drawing the characters the way that they were drawing, that's when I was heavily drawing myself. So I have a lot of artwork based on Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane that I recreated, drawing from my cards and my comic books and keeping in my binder that I think I've showed at least one of y'all before. And then so when Jim Lee left Marvel and when Todd McFarlane left Marvel and they set up Image together, I was ecstatic because two of my favorite artists were there. And then you had Eric Larson, who is kind of a creeper, but he did Savage Dragon for Image. And you had Shadowhawk, you had Wildcat, you had Youngblood, and what was it? Was it Pitt? Was that one of them? PITT?
No, it was Pitt, or was it? I don't know why I'm thinking Max.
No, not the Max, not the purple and yellow dude that had a comic and short-lived series on MTV with Aeon Flux. No.
Yeah, it was the Max. It was the Max.
Yeah, it was that Max. And then it was PITT. He came out in 1993, and that dude's like a Hulk meets Lobo kind of guy. Yeah. And so. Yeah, dude, when they did all that, I was like, okay. So then I started following their stuff, and then he came out with fucking Spawn and shit. And then so that got me into that whole realm even more of branching off from Marvel and DC because they went and produced stellar stuff under a different moniker. And then so going back to what JP was saying about Jeff Johns, this dude has worked on so many things. If you go and binge, you don't even have to read the comic books. If you just at minimum go and binge every animated DC feature on HBO Max, you will appreciate those stories. I prefer the cartoons myself, but there are certain stories that I have read that I'm like, okay, that's dope as shit. But if you watch them, if you Google DC animated universe and watch them in order, you will see their peak and you will see them slope, but nothing was just garbage. And then if you really, really want to be wowed, you watch the Young Justice cartoon seasons 1 through 4.
Yes.
And that'll give you an idea of DC as content. But to get back to what you were saying,
Young Justice, I have no problem with Teen Titans. I love the actually like the TV show. But
so the live action TV show or the cartoons?
Yeah, actually liked it.
We're on season 4 right now.
Starfire is black. Yeah, not because she's black.
Oh, the live.
It's not terrible, but it's good. It's
That's what I liked about it. Like they go in, they fight.
I don't care that it's a black actress playing Starfire. I'm sorry, she's always orange. He's always green. Those like the fact that it's like it. I don't like the cheapness of it.
One color. Yeah, she's never any one color, but
it's like, but Starfire's fucking orange. I don't care the actress playing it. She's talented and does a great job. But it's
At least have her skin orange. I would have been fine with that shit.
We wanted to
more
see
money on the visual effects.
The orange skin.
Like,
so you wanted to orange face
is the orange
Starfire,
skin.
green face Beast Boy.
Yes,
that
is these characters. Do it fucking right. It can be done.
Like,
If
you notice, they took the cheap way out when they use their powers. You see their faces turn the complexion of what their
color,
their comic counterpart is.
That's what I like, dude. That's weak as fuck. Like, dude, it's like I'm not trying to deny her blackness or anything like bullshit like that. It's just like, dude, like you're playing a character. Play the fucking character. You're Warner Brothers. You have the fucking money. Do it right. Like the Superman live action they have going on with what the fuck is his name? The
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yes, that shit's fucking amazing and underrated as fuck.
It is great.
Like,
I just don't like the chick they have as Lois, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, but it's like I'm curious as why you don't like DC. Since we've over here fanboy the fuck out, why don't you like DC?
Yeah, I was like we interrupted you, so we apologize. Well, we wanted to make sure that you had some context.
So basically, got you. Okay. So fuck all that. I just never liked them because they're African American presence, and let me explain.
Okay,
look at Image. Look at Image. Look at Marvel.
Yeah.
Look at, you know what I'm saying? DC was around 1934. 1934 time.
Can I interject? He's not wrong, but can I inject an observation real quick? So, based on that little tidbit there, Dee, is that why you went so gangsta for Static Shock when he came out?
When I first saw Static Shock, I was a child. I had no idea of any of this. But when I got older and realized what was happening, the effort that they don't put into black and brown characters, and you can see it. You can see production, anything. They don't go as with the other ones because they know that's their moneymaker. I got it. But at some time you should have evolved. You know?
Right.
At some point, they have plenty of characters that they could have brought up and just went hard on and made it look real good. But they focus on
a lot of them until the 70s. You didn't get a lot of, and they started back. DC started back in the early 30s, right?
Yeah, it's like they didn't. 1934 they started, and it's like they didn't want to do it for long. They just didn't want to do it.
You got to think about the climate too. We weren't shit to them back then, and even in the 60s, 30 years after that, they weren't going to have much of a presence. At least Marvel made efforts, shortly after their first publication.
Yeah. Marvel started a few years later, but they didn't get big until like the 60s. But even still, they put effort to everybody. They showed everybody that, hey, we're about, the greater good. They put it out to everybody.
Yeah.
DC still shuffling around like I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Once Jeff Johns really came on the scene, because Jeff Johns' Green Lantern changed the game for a black character in the mainstream. Because we can look at some of the X-Men characters that have been around and been killed off here and there in different like extinction agendas and Infinity Sagas in Marvel. But Jeff Johns, and I'm talking the original shit, not the ones that were the new people like, hey, we're Marvel, we ran out of ideas because we killed off mutants because we don't own the movie rights and can't milk that cash cow right now. And now we're playing Oops 1-800-OUR-BAD and doing a horrible job at it.
1-800-OUR-BAD.
Dude, sorry, but I'm gonna put you like this. Come over to the cartoon and comic book side, because how you should know by now, my friend, that when I say that somebody's so good enough they could do something that should never be done, they could do it. Jeff Johns is so good. He is the only non-black person that could legitimately write a white Black Panther and have it work and have it be told over 2 or 3 years And even if it's just temporary to the reveal of a new return back to Wakanda, regular black guy as a Black Panther, this man is so fucking talented. He could do it right. He could do the shit you don't do right. He is that fucking good.
And I've listened to JP have this conversation, and I don't disagree with everything that he's saying, but there will still be lots of flack from both black and non-black community if he wrote something called White Panther. I guarantee it.
But if they'd actually read it, they would shut the fuck up type of thing. Like, they're just bitching about it because they haven't actually read it. It's one of those, would be one of those things where it's like, there would be some like 36 issue long 2-3 panels that have to deal with the underlying main arc fused. Like, dude is a master storyteller to the point
it would have to be done in a way where it's not the quintessential white savior complex.
But no, he is that.
They already did it. Yeah, I'm reading it right now. The Black man, typed in who was the white Black Panther. Yeah, it's Casper Cole. I had never even seen him, heard of this. He was a multiracial New York City police officer that held mantle as Black Panther.
Right. In different continuities, they knew each other and spent time when T'Challa was learning. And
I didn't even know about that.
I think he went to him. And if you also watch the Marvel's Avengers Assemble cartoon, season 4 is all Black Panther, and it has that character in there, but it's not White Panther. He goes by a different name.
I think White Tiger.
No, not White Tiger.
It's not.
God dang it. No, hold on.
It says Cole would take on the moniker of White Tiger and become an ally to T'Challa.
Yes, but it wasn't that in the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Was it White Wolf?
Yeah, there. God dang it!
No, because Winter Soldier is White Wolf.
Let me find it.
And that is one of my gripes. That's one of my main fucking gripes with Wakanda Forever, because like as much as I understand what they were doing with how they wanted to do it as a goodbye to fucking Chadwick, where the fuck was all the other Avengers? And at least Bucky would be there. And if Bucky's going to be there, the fucking Captain America is going to be there. So it would have been Bucky and the Falcon. And I will say this, Marvel, for what they've done for live action black shows as far as like production quality and all that, what they did with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, fucking masterpiece. I can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. That's probably like my top 3 live actions. But yeah, it was White Wolf.
Season 1 of Luke Cage on Netflix.
Yeah, season 1 was fantastic.
Oh my god! Like,
so
I don't know if Marvel can do that.
Yeah, to get back to Dark Daddy's sentiments here. I like
chocolate bear.
I like how that rolls off my tongue. Dark Daddy. I'm just teasing. To get back to your point.
Stops there.
Dang, I lost my train of thought because we're fucking around. To get back to your point and validate your sentiments, you're absolutely correct. Their efforts early on was shit in terms of black representation, brown representation, and what that. And it took them like 40 years to do it. Whereas Marvel, it only took them less than 10 to include us. So I get that. But in the now, I would urge you to please spend your free time firstly watching Justice League and then Justice League Unlimited, and then after that watch Young Justice, and then once you're done with Young Justice, start watching the DC animated films in release order, because almost all of them are there. So
also hold
on, man. Hold on. I gotta humbly decline and hear me out. Hear me out. I don't want to turn away. I don't want to turn back from this. This is okay. You know why? Because they got some kick-ass fucking action figures, and I will go broke. I will end up selling my fucking house. So I am fine where I'm at. Okay.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Did you know that there's actually a black Batman?
Yes.
Have you ever read those comics?
No, I have not read the comics. I do have. I got like Batman versus Predator. I got freaking
Is it the one
Batman
with? Is
versus
it the one where?
Aliens.
Is it the one where Batwing becomes Batman or somebody else?
No, it's where Lucius Fox's kid in the future becomes Batman.
Right. That's he play. He's Batwing. He's Batwing in the present.
Oh,
Lucius, Lucius Fox.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many fucking Bat family, dude. There's Batwing, there's Bat Nipple, there's Bat Ballsack, there's Bat Dog. Like,
This
there's
is how,
Bat everything.
before I got into the military, I actually had the entire collection of the death of Superman.
Oh, what was that like?
Was
that like an 8-story arc or something?
Yeah, it was.
It was long.
Yeah, and thinking I was going off to probably die, in the military, I called myself taking it and selling it to leave some money behind and stuff. So yeah, kicking myself in the ass with that one. But
okay, so I understand why you don't want to get involved in all that, but I would implore you to do the minimal of just Justice League Unlimited, and Young Justice. It doesn't prompt me to want to buy any figures that I already didn't want as a collector, but the way that those stories were written are phenomenal. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jeff Johns is like producer on some of these shows and takes writing credits on some of them. And me rewatching Smallville right now with my wife and daughter, I'm seeing his name a lot in the credits.
Oh,
I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that.
Like, Jeff Johns is the type of dude that walked into DC, picked up Green Lantern, took like 90% of their like loose and dead end plot and things that didn't work anywhere, and made a cohesive universe about the end, like basically justifying why that crisis that just occurred happened. Like, they made an irrelevant character like Deadman relevant. This man not only invented, like, basically brought like more cohesive history to like the Guardians, the overall like people who run the Green Lantern Corps, but he created and made all the other spectrums of emotion behind it. Like, he laid seeds across 2 years of comic books before the main rush of like 6 different like single books, like a couple 2 or 3 issue minis over here. Like, dude, it is one of the most brilliant events since the original Infinity Saga from Marvel. Like, the movies, there is no director right now, because of how DC and Warner Brothers run their shit, that can do what the cartoons are able to do for DC, unfortunately.
Yes, absolutely.
The Batman is dope as fuck, don't get me wrong, but it's like, it's still not Calendar Man. That movie should be the Calendar Man. If I want to sit here and be a purist axe comic book kid, it's good the way they did Riddler, don't get me wrong, but that was the Calendar Man doing that shit. Those were the Calendar Man crimes that fucking Batman was tracking down. Like, it was dope, but the live action's not really hitting for DC. I hope James Gunn does it decent. It's a dope ass movie, and I watch it a bunch still. I love it. Like, Robert Pattinson is playing an amazing Batman. But if you want to be like, oh, comic book wise, no, they have no, like, no, like, if people want to fucking a comic book accurate Batman, it's somebody who's like 1 or 2 steps away from what we saw Heath Ledger do for the Joker. Like, if people who actually read comic books, like, the Batman is not someone you're supposed to really look up to. You're supposed to look up to the dude they had for I will say this about the Batman though. The man they had playing Commissioner Gordon, whose name I cannot remember, but it pisses me off that I can't.
Giancarlo Esposito. No. That's what's his face. Oh my God.
But that man, besides the fact that he is black, was the most accurate representation of a comic book accurate Jim Gordon I have ever seen. Like, I'm like not even trying to be like, oh, he's black. It's like, no. You don't understand. That was fucking Jim Gordon. Like that was perfect. Perfect. Like if that dude was doing that as a cosplay, as a competition.
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, that dude, that was Jim Gordon. That was the best live action Jim Gordon I have ever fucking seen. Amazing. Amazing. But overall, it's still like that. It's not the Riddler. Like, I get no one knows Calendar Man, but you had an opportunity to introduce him to him. Like, sorry, I love my good DC stories. Like, there's a lot of DC stuff that I can agree. There's a lot of DC shit that I can agree with that people are like, that's kind of poop. And it's like, oh yeah, it is. Because if you like the good, you acknowledge the bad. You know, it sucks, but it's like, yeah, there's a big chunk of DC that's some doo doo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a big chunk. Like I'm gonna say this right now, and I know a lot of people don't like it. Movie Thanos is a bitch, and he's on a long list of other people who me and this gentleman named Aldez over here, we've had controversial conversations of who's also on that list of bitch. But we'll if we start a Patreon, we'll save that episode for the Patreon episode because it will piss people off. Just because compared to what we got on the live screen, compared to what we know exists as cartoons before these movies came out, like your bar was much higher than what you gave us. Mm-hmm. We know the money you have. We know the checks you can write, but yet you gave us mid. Like, we deserve better.
Yep.
They were good for what they were, but like, I'm sorry, that Thanos, like the Thanos that I know, my I'm gonna sound kind of old, but my Thanos would have just like giggled at them with like basically his dark side version of Energy Blast, because that's basically who he is. Like, I'm sorry, they did a good job as like the young. I just use a sword. No. Like he's Marvel's dark side. You don't understand. It's like,
yeah.
That's why
I'm going to have to cut us short because it's already 8:20.
Oh, we've been going at this for a hot minute.
I have not had dinner.
Yeah.
My wife is studying for her LSAT, but I would like a little bit of quality time with her before we go to bed and I have to get up. But
I didn't realize that we were doing this for 3 hours. But yeah, let's wrap it up.
No, you're good. I'm just like,
got a whole lot of editing to do.
Get us back on.
Oh,
track.
The only thing I'm editing out is that stuff before the introduction. But you know, that stuff, if we decide to do a Patreon, we could actually do it for a Patreon episode, you know, and then fucking get into the free show. But that shit we can talk about off stream. But yeah, dude, sure. It was a fun first episode.
Yeah, I'm just giving us a like a 2-minute warning or whatever you want to call it. Or
you're good.
We're in the fourth quarter.
Let's just say goodbye to the peoples and then just stop recording then, because like if we're gonna be real about it, we might as well just like end the episode now, because if we start going again, it's gonna end up being like an hour later. Like, okay.
So we need a quick recap then. So quick recap. We talked about some political
shit.
We talked about some political shit and how fucked up it is for ex-military and military in general. Yes. We talked about my man's disdain for DC early on, and he's got homework now, which I humbly hope that he accepts this homework assignment over the next couple of months and trust us that those two cartoons alone will just give you some good content because the representation is there also in both of those series. In
Okay.
in Justice League, which premiered 2002. I want to say Justice League, and then
I think so, yeah.
the sequel series, Justice League Unlimited, was 2005, and they both ran 2 seasons, and so it's a real quick watch. I mean, like you could fly through that at home, and then after that, then you get into Young Justice, which is a representation cornucopia. We're talking handicap, we're talking LGBTQ, we're talking black, we're talking mental health. It's got everything in this series. It is probably one of the most well-written series that I have ever watched. To grow from season to season, because the characters actually grow in years as you watch this show unfold, and it tackles real world stuff. Yeah, it tackles real world stuff in animation through the lens of superheroes. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to give anything away, but it tackles some real life shit that happens that they used a cartoon and these well-known DC characters to emphasize. And it's absolutely amazing. If there was one show that I would recommend for any person who's iffy on DC stories, it would probably be Young Justice. And
he's not wrong.
And Greg Weiss. So hold on real quick. Greg Weisman, if that name sounds familiar to you, Greg Weisman is the same brother that was the part creator of Gargoyles in '94. He is one of the head producers and writers on Young Justice. And I follow this motherfucker on Twitter just to see how much we can bombard him with, like, hey, I know this wasn't your decision, but can we get season 5, my dude? And then he keeps hinting.
I met him at the Comic-Con.
Yeah, and he might be subtly hinting at us to do what we had to do when season 3 dropped. Go stream the series on multiple platforms. So when he told us to do that a few years back for season 3, I would leave my TV on when I would go to work and it would stream Young Justice. I would go to bed with it on. I would go to bed on with one TV and then I'd have it playing on my phone in another room just to get the numbers up. And we did that shit. There were so many people talking online. Like, this was like Nerds Unite at one of its finest levels. And we not only got one extra season, we got 2 extra seasons, bro. 2 extra full seasons. And those 2 seasons went hard. The first 2 are wow, but then the last 2 are like, well, shit. And so if you liked Gargoyles and you liked the dark nature and gritty nature of Gargoyles, you will absolutely love Young Justice.
Okay. And I love Gargoyles, man. That was my shit.
Yeah.
And
we're fanboys for like we're the type where it's like the live action movies have their place. But unfortunately, because of what Marvel did with making their comic books seem more like their live action movies and changing and retconning stuff for their modern canon, which, sorry, they fucking did, because they changed Thanos in the comic books and then all of a sudden he's a different Thanos on the fucking screen. But, pardon me. It's the same thing with fucking DC and their movies. Ben Affleck's Batman is probably the closest we'll ever get to a live screen version of the Dark Knight Returns Batman. It was dope. It was gritty. It is what it is. But that's like popcorn flick.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. I will say, on just to add on to your DC summation of the movies, there haven't really been like a stellar overall great film, in my opinion, that the DC Extended Universe has created, except for Man of Steel. I can watch that one start to finish with no issues.
Yeah.
Everything else is just okay to me.
I'm
lying. I'm lying. Well, I'm talking like this day and age, not Christopher Reeve.
Okay.
I'm talking about them trying to world build like the MCU did starting in 2008.
Because he had Richard Pryor. I mean, you had Gene Hackman, you had Richard Pryor, you had the bitch who played Lois Lane that went batshit crazy. I mean, Superman's dick was so good he drove the bitch crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
So I with the DC live action movies, and this sentiment is shared with quite a few people that I know. And so the saying goes, MCU greater than DC EU.
Yes.
DC animated greater than Marvel animated. And
yeah.
it's hands down the truth.
Right.
So if you want to get your content, even though it's not necessarily comic book accurate, but you want to get a decent representation of the characters from the comics, you watch the MCU films. If you want to get decent depictions of the DC characters, you watch the animated cartoons and movies. And that's where you'll get the gist of who they are. Because let me tell you, bruh, Black and Brown is strong in Young Justice. let me tell you. Let me tell you. And so whatever grudge you're holding against them as an adult, Young Justice will put that to bed.
Shit, go look, Google the Bat family. Like right now. And I'm
not even a DC fanboy. I'm not. I'm a Marvel stan to the core. I am a Marvel stan to the purest because Spider-Man is my dude. But I recognize good content, good writing, good animation, good
storytelling.
Yes, all of that, and it's present in that show. So you know what? I'm gonna say fuck it. Don't even start off with Justice League, and then Justice League Unlimited. Jump straight into Young Justice, bro. Jump straight into Young Justice, and just get your fill. And then we could. I would even say just watch maybe like the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then we could do a mini podcast on your perception of it at that point.
That would
if
be
you're
dope.
down. If you're down. If you're down.
You know what has squashed all this shit? You know what would have made me change my mind? Static Shock fucking movie by now. If I had a Static Shock fucking movie right now, not the bullshit Black Lightning ass damn TV show with the goddamn silicone fucking costume. No, I'm fucking black. Come on, man. Static Shock movie. I know people are asking for it. Asking for it. There's no way nobody's asking for it.
Attached to it at one point, rumored.
Yeah, I got a feeling I got a feeling that James Gunn was probably going to greenlight one of those and like probably his phase 2 type of shit. Just because if he's going to do one, he's going to do it right. Like that's what kind of made me giggle with him doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Is like that's actually like his fuck you to the MCU if you look at it through like a different type of lens.
Right.
Because like they fucked up. I'm sorry. Like the man was working for Trauma Films for like 10 years. Your mind's a special place of fucked up writing those kind of movies. Working on those kind of movies. The Toxic Avenger. Like that your sense of humor is kind of fucked up at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, he said because like, dude, Adam Warlock, dude, no, bro, no. Like, I loved when Guardians 1 and 2 came out, even the Christmas special, I loved. Like,
bro, that Christmas special was fucking amazing.
Like, it was so fucking stupid in the best ways. Like,
it had that 80s, it had that 80s movie, early 90s movie feel for just fuckery that was at its best. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. It was the same spirit that fucking Jack Kirby had when he came back, and like you could see the Guardians comics get influenced with the same like levity and even matching despair that Fourth World had in DC comics. Like it was just like it's serious, but like it's why I love Willow. Like they're heroes, but just dumb, like in the best ways. Like even if they're super smart, they're still.
It's almost like
idiots.
watching. Yeah, it's almost like watching smart Bill and Ted.
Yeah,
go save the world.
And it's like, even from a comic book point of view, like the way they totally redid Drax because they didn't want to use fucking Moondragon which is a goddamn waste because Moondragon as a character is so fucking badass.
Yeah, dude, I didn't realize that until I read Infinity Gauntlet as a story after Infinity War and Endgame came out.
Like Eros and Pip the Troll would never fucking hang out. I'm sorry, that's not They don't fuck with each other. Pip the Troll being a resident, being kicking it with Adam Warlock for a couple fucking thousand years. No, you don't kick it with Eros. I saw that, and I saw that shit in the theaters at the end of that fucking movie, and I was just like, everybody's cheering. I'm like, yeah, these motherfuckers don't read comic books. What the fuck? Like, and like y'all cheering for a rapist. Like y'all don't know who the fuck Star Fox is. Like, like, dude, Disney's Marvel's coming out with some questionable fucking options for different characters that they're not really reading. It's like, what you know about some Star Fox, bro? You're lucky people don't read like the Silver Age comics and realize what kind of person Hank Pym was in the comic books. He'd get canceled really fucking quick.
Yep. Sorry, I just had a message.
No, you're good. You're good. Like the time he slapped around his wife and during Secret Wars, she went and fucked Magneto. Oh,
yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh, dude, trust me, bro. We'll turn you on to some dope-ass DC stories. Not to invalidate your reasons for not liking it.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
You're
right. The movies are fucking donkey shit. Like, they're good for what they are, but they're basically based off of Injustice and, like, the Frank Miller books. And it's just like, you have better for these better. Why are you wasting the no?
Exactly.
Like, you fucked up. But yeah, I'll send you some links too, dude. Like, but yeah, let's wrap this up. I'm sorry, it is getting late. It's been a great fucking episode, guys.
Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce.
Yeah,
awesome.
I have been your boy Aldez.
This is JP.
All right, it's been JP and then me, half baked. Hey, I'm high as shit, man. Y'all keep going.
All right,
we ended it by making an Oreo. I love it.
I'm gonna curl right here and go to sleep.
Right on, gentlemen.
All right, man.